What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. My name is Kyle. It's June 29th, about 6 o'clock Central Time here on a Thursday. We're going to be going over the ADP Risers and Fallers from the past week or so. I'm going to be looking at the best ball ADP on Underdog and Drafters. Underdog is half PPR, Drafters is full PPR. So let's get the screen share going here for you guys. You can find this information on the fantasyfellowship.com. I think I put links in the description if you want to check it out and follow along too. But you just hover over the content tab. Let's go into Underdog right away, and we'll see what we can scheme. Good evening to Harris. Hope you're doing well, my man. We got some interesting stuff here, and I think actually what I'm going to do is the article's there, but I think I'm going to go to my I think I'm actually going to go to my spreadsheet. I think I might have a little bit more fun showing you guys that kind of stuff. So let's open up my best ball spreadsheet here, and we'll go to Underdog. Alrighty, so I'm going to filter here by ADP change, and we're going to go over the fallers first. Alrighty, here are your ADP fallers. Good evening, Chase. Hope you're doing well. We're looking at the ADP Risers and Fallers. This is the Underdog portion. We're going to do a Drafters one because Drafters is full PPR, Underdog is half PPR. So the number one faller on Underdog right now is Jalen Hyatt. Now, I updated these rankings today. The last time I updated these, we did it was the 22nd, so it's been a full week. So about a week has changed here, and Jalen Hyatt is now falling almost a full round. You can get him at the 184 spot. I think that's like round 16, 17. He's going super late. Wan'Dale Robinson, number 2, falling here about 9.6 picks. He's a last round guy as well. I'm not sure I'm interested in either one of these guys for redraft, more so for Dynasty. You got Trey Lance dropping like flies here. He is minus 8.7 with his ADP change, and he's going well inside, like well in the 200s. He goes undrafted on Underdog sometimes, and it's 17th, 18th round, Trey Lance. We got Breece Hall at 11, and then Waddle. That's a fantastic start. I'm super excited about that. Hey Chase, what platform is your dynasty draft on tomorrow night? I think I would like to look at that ADP and figure out what we can maybe look at for your dynasty draft tomorrow night. But number 4 coming in here is Josh Downs. I'm not super excited about Josh Downs this year. I think he's still a good dynasty asset, but I think for now, going to pump the brakes on his redraft outlook. Chase Claypool down about 4.7 spots. Again, all these guys are last round picks, so we don't really care too much about these guys. But you got Rashee Rice in here, who a lot of people are drafting in like the 12th and 13th round right now. So that's something to keep an eye on as he's dropping. Tight end for the New York Jets here, Tyler Conklin dropping about 3 spots. I'm not sure why that is. Juju's starting to drop a lot. I know they just signed Devontae Parker last night for a 3-year, $33 million deal. I'm not quite sure if it really is a 3-year deal, if it's like a 1-year deal and they can cut him. I don't know how it works, but Juju's been not participating at the mini camps and OTAs. We'll see if he's ready for training camp, but starting to get him in the 9th and sometimes 10th round of fantasy drafts. Michael Mayer, the rookie tight end for the Raiders, he's free in drafts right now. You can get him in the 18th, 19th, 20th round. I have been starting to add him in best ball leagues, so I don't mind this. I'm not super excited about Juju Harris. I think I don't know if we're gonna find any fantasy goodness in the New England Patriots offense outside of Ramondre Stevenson. I think he's the guy that if you're gonna put a bet on the Patriots, that's probably the guy. I don't hate Mac Jones in a super flex league as my 2 or 3. I think in best ball leagues, I've been looking at Tyquan Thornton, but where Juju's being drafted in the 108 spot here, let me actually show you. Let's take a look here. My issue with Juju is just where he's being drafted right now, which is in the 108. Like I'm looking at like this kind of ADP chunk here. I prefer some of these other guys here, whether I can get Njoku, P. Ryan, Pat. I take Brian Robinson enough times. If you need a quarterback, that's a really good round to grab one like Kirk Cousins, Daniel Jones, Geno Smith. There's just too many other guys I think in the Juju range that I like, and I'm not trusting him exactly. But I do like Conklin. I like Conklin late, especially like when I draft a Garrett Wilson or Aaron Rodgers. I end up trying to stack them with Tyler Conklin. So I'm into Conklin, not so much Juju, but that could change. Let's see the ADP change here. Yeah, I think you're gonna like what you get, and the receivers Wilson, Waddle, St. Brown, maybe even Devonta. We're gonna be able to find running backs. I think Chase, my rule for you is gonna be like we can't draft a running back over 25 years old unless it's like super late. But as long as your running back is young, I want him on my team. But if you can continue to hammer elite wide receivers, and Chase, it also is like it really depends on your roster format. Like if you start 3 wide receivers and you have 1 flex, that's super like I need that information for sure. Because if you only have the 2 receivers and the 1 flex, then you're starting 3 receivers. So that could change things. If you could start 4 receivers, though, that would be huge. Let's see where we left off. Michael Mayer falling a little bit. Miko Hardman, I don't know why the Jets players are falling a little bit here. I think I want to buy these guys. And these guys are more for best. Again, this is best ball ADP. These guys are going super late. I don't know if we're going to be drafting them in redraft leagues. And 3 receivers. Okay, perfect. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to having your first 3 picks be wide receiver. And so you could start 5 receivers. Okay. That is a exciting development. All right, well, we're going to open up the sleeper ADP and we'll kind of look at some things. But we got DJ Chark falling a little bit. I think there's kind of 4 receivers there in Carolina that makes it kind of muddy. Michael Gallup is slipping just a little bit here. I'm not sure why. About a few weeks ago, though, he was being in the 150. So his ADP climbed a good 20 spots. Looks like he's starting to come down a little bit. Alec Pierce coming down a little bit. He's a 13th, 14th round guy. There's Mingo, so more Carolina Panthers receivers coming down. Hunter Renfrow is an interesting case. I thought he'd be moving up because there's a lot of smoke there with Hunter Renfrow about him potentially being traded. I know the Saints have mentioned Renfrow's name a lot. We'll see what happens here before training camp, but Hunter Renfrow is a name to keep an eye on. Michael Pittman Jr. I did my ESPN mock draft the other night, and I thought Michael Pittman Jr. was an interesting case because he fell a little bit. I was looking at the data last year in full PPR. I think he was wide receiver 18 and like wide receiver 20 in the last 2 years. And his quarterbacks during this span, I think I tweeted it today. I just want to pull it up real quick. Okay, if you guys aren't following me on Twitter, that's where a lot of goodness is being sent out throughout the day. Where did I put the? Let's see. Yeah, I had something here. It was Michael Pittman's quarterbacks. Here we go. Matt Ryan, Sam Ellinger, Nick Foles, Carson Wentz, Jacob Eason. I know people have their doubts about Anthony Richardson being an accurate quarterback, but to be fair, Michael Pittman's dealt with some garbage here. So last summer, Chase, I bought Michael Pittman. Like I traded for him. He was a guy that I was high on. I thought he would be a really good fit for Matt Ryan. And I think right now, I think you have a pretty good opportunity to buy Michael Pittman pretty low in dynasty leagues right now because everyone's got this sour taste in their mouth. And the dude was wide receiver 20 last year. So his overall market perception seems a little bit off. I think Pittman's kind of a buy right now. And I'm starting to see him dip in full PPR leagues, especially. He dips into the back end of the 6th round right now. So yeah, I'm buying Pittman right now in dynasty. Leonard Fournette moving down a little bit. You got Rashid Shaheed. I'm just going to call out some other notable names here. Dalvin Cook has been dropping a little bit since he has been released. Evan Ingram being dropping down about 2 spots here. He's basically at the 8th round, 9th round turn. Tyquan Thornton falling down. KJ Osborne. So just a bunch of wide receiver 3s here. You're going to see the Miami Dolphins running backs all start to take a little bit of hit as the rumor is Dalvin Cook is going to go to Miami. I'm not sure I'm buying that. I actually think he might be a New York Jet. The Jets have some cap. We'll see what happens here. They're kind of all in for a Super Bowl this year, so I think it makes a lot of sense. You have Raheem Mostert, Chuba Hubbard, Chase Brown all moving down just a few picks. Juwan Johnson moving down, John Mechie, Marvin Jones. I'm just looking for any more notable guys moving down. I don't think it's too bad because now we're just looking at like a spot or 2. So let's change it up. Let's go look at the ADP risers. And the number 1 riser in half PPR underdog scoring is Paris Campbell, the Giants starting slot receiver. It sounded like he had a really good training camp and he was the leading target man for Daniel Jones in the first team offense. So a few weeks ago, this guy was being picked in the 200s. He continues his ascension upward, almost up a full round. He is now going about 177th overall. Maybe, I mean, if he keeps this up, we might be drafting him in redraft leagues. Kenneth Gainwell moving up about half a round. He's a guy that I love on my bench. If you guys know my stuff, you guys know I like grabbing late round running backs, and I think Gainwell, the Eagles running back situation, I think is going to be murky. I understand that they traded for DeAndre Swift. They have Rashad Penny. They have Kenneth Gainwell. I end up usually just taking the cheapest one, and I think Gainwell is a guy you want on your bench. Pierre Strong. I'm interested in Pierre Strong. I don't think Ramondre Stevenson's going to get as many carries and targets as he was getting last year. I think they want to keep him a little bit fresher. I really like Pierre Strong. He did make some nice plays last year, and he looks good. He's a pass-catching running back too, so he's a guy, especially if you draft Ramondre Stevenson in a best ball league, I'm okay with, adding Pierre Strong here at the final round. So keep an eye on him. Taysom Hill continues to climb boards, and in half PPR, he should be. He's being the tight end 20 right now. I think in my projections, he's a top. Let me see here. I want to see where Taysom Hill comes into my projections for half PPR. Let's take a peek here. Taysom Hill, half PPR. All right, my half PPR has Taysom Hill being a tight end 12, and then Harris for your standard leagues, I got Taysom Hill at tight end 5. He's gonna run for 400 yards. So it's pretty crazy. But Taysom Hill is a screaming value in half PPR and in standard formats here. Who do you like more in Dynasty, DK or JSN? That one's interesting because I think short term it's clearly DK Metcalf. I think DK's got a nice 2-year, 3-year window left to be the main guy. Not sure how long we're going to get a good Geno Smith. There's also questions about who's the quarterback after Geno Smith that could potentially limit JSN. I think right now you probably – how old is DK? DK Metcalf, he's 25 years. He turns 26. So that means age 26, 27, 28. I would say DK's got a 3-year window here to be a fringe wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. I'm probably going to lean Jackson Smith in the Jigba. I think in a full PPR format, that's probably where you're going to want to lean. I like Dortch, Antonio Gibson, Brock Purdy from this list. Yeah, man, so I'm glad you like all these guys. So I'm in on Greg Dortch. I've actually been drafting him in some of my best ball leagues. Brock Purdy is my number 1 drafted quarterback right now in best ball because he's, again, QB 25. If he starts week 1, we're not ranking him QB 25. He's probably a top 15, top 16 QB perhaps, and he's being drafted in the 17th round right now, which doesn't make sense. I don't know what else people need to hear. Like the 49ers have been very clear, like we want Brock Purdy to start, and it sounds like he's well on his way here. And then, yeah, the Antonio Gibson one coming in here, he's the 15th highest riser. He's now up at 102.9. And he's continuing to climb. I think once we get to drafters and we look at the full PPR ADP, he's like almost in the top 100, I think, right now. I think you should be excited about Eric Bieniemy there. They're going to bring back the wide receiver screen to the Commanders here. And interestingly enough, I just want to show you guys, J.D. McKissic was still on this Commanders team last year. And last year, McKissic had 27 receptions and 40 targets. I mean, between McKissic and Gibson, like these guys had 100 or they had 98 targets between the two. I'm not saying Gibson's going to get all of that. I have him going for 80 targets. Man, I think Gibson's going to get the ball a good amount this year. So I like Gibson here. Let me zoom back in. Who else sticks out here? Let's see. Tim Patrick's a guy that I think maybe – for redraft leagues, he might be like one of the last receivers that we take. I like him to be the kind of number 3 wide receiver in pretty much all the wide receiver sets. And he's their best blocker. He might even be their number 2 receiver in a lot of sets here. So Patrick will continue to rise as we get to training camps. Brock Purdy will continue to rise. Again, there's Mac Jones. And I think Harris, like if you're into where was it? If you're into Juju, I'm okay with it as long as his price kind of falls a little bit. But I'm okay with being interested in Mac Jones as a QB2 for a super flex league. I think he's got some spikes. in his system with new Bill O'Brien offensive coordinator. Not sure what's up with Cordero Patterson. He might get moved, released. Romeo Doubs, though, he is a guy that is moving up pretty quickly. He now costs a 10th round pick. If you want Romeo Doubs on your team, he's a 10th round pick this year. And then Luke Musgrave as well, because there's no competition for the Packers tight end room. So Musgrave moving up boards. He is now a guy that I think I've been trying to get on a lot of my teams. I'll just kind of mention some of these other guys here. Gus Edwards moving up, Alexander Madison, Greg Dulcich, Jalen Warren, Antonio Gibson, Matthew Stafford, Desmond Ridder, Isaiah Likely, and Kenny Pickett. I have Wilson and Waddle at 311 with this decision. I think I'm going to go Jackson Smith and Jigba. I'm curious if I have curious what my dynasty rankings say. I do need to update my dynasty rankings. I haven't updated them since May. I do need to get these updated. I have DK Metcalf here right now, Jackson Smith and the Jigba here. Oh, now that I think about it, I might switch those two. I think if you can get both, man, do both. I think that's cool too, Chase. Let's see. Mac Jones or Tua Dynasty Superflex? Tua all day, not even close. We're going Tua. I know he's got health concerns, but I'm going with Tua. Pickett's kind of a sleeper right now. I don't expect Kenny Pickett to ever be like a league-winning fantasy quarterback, but especially in like a super flex format, I think that's where he has the ability to be of use as your QB2. You know, going out and throwing for 250 yards and a touchdown or two, you know, getting you those 14, 15, 16 points. I think Kenny Pickett is a guy, especially pretty much only in super flex league. I don't know about like one QB dynasty. I think he's fine as a bench stash. You're never going to feel good starting him as your QB1, but definitely in leagues where if you need a QB2, I'm happy with him there. But we're going to go over to the Drafters ADP, and let's see. And again, Drafters is full. It's full PPR. Let me see here. Full ADP. Let's go ahead and hit this. Biggest fallers, and this list is going to be similar to some of the other guys here. So here's your top 20 fallers. Josh Downs, Chase Claypool, there's Jalen Hyatt, again, Wan'Dale Robinson, Zach Evans. A lot of people are kind of coming off of him now. They did sign Sony Michel, so that kind of, you know, pumps the brake on him. I don't know why Tank Dell's falling. I like Tank Dell in PPR. Greg Dortch is falling in full PPR. Rashee Rice falling. Chase Brown, Sterling Shepard, Mecole Hardman, Dalton Kincaid. People are overdrafting him right now. I don't know if he even belongs on a redraft team. Marvin Mims, though, I don't agree with this one. I'm going to continue to buy Marvin Mims as he falls down. There's a good opportunity that Cortland Sutton gets traded at Harris. I don't know if you know anything, you know, being in the Denver area, but I think Marvin Mims is the guy you want on your fantasy team this year. He's going to think about like a young Brandon Cooks. That's what Marvin Mims can do for this offense. So I'm both you guys, Chase and Harris, like get Marvin Mims on your dynasty teams because it's notable that Sean Payton, his first year, you know, in the Broncos system, he trades up to get Marvin Mims. And I think a lot of people were excited about that landing spot. So if you guys are doing dynasty drafts, make sure you grab Marvin Mims. You're going to like what you get. You might even get some use out of him this year too. Let's see. Aaron Rodgers is falling just because he doesn't provide rushing upside. So in these best ball leagues, he is like an ideal QB2, and people don't need to reach for him. They kind of let him fall. And well, Anthony Richardson at one point, so like in May, like when the best balls opened, Anthony Richardson got moved up boards because it was like, you know, the draft just happened and everyone's like, oh my God, he's going to be the best rookie quarterback this year, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, he was being drafted at the beginning of the 8th round. He's starting to dip now into the 9th round. I think if you grab a Harris, like I actually really like, especially in Dynasty, like if you can get Richardson, get him in Dynasty. I think you're going to like what you get. You can always move him in the future if you want. But I really like Richardson as a QB2 on my roster this year. And even if you draft a one QB team, and say you get Aaron Rodgers and an Anthony Richardson, you could potentially play matchups and see what's going on there. But I think the reveal could be pretty nice for Richardson. And yeah, Mims at 211 would be Fantastic there, Chase. I do have my rookie rankings here. Yeah, and those I did update earlier in June. I've got Marvin Mims as my 15th ranked player here. I'm pretty high on him. I might actually move. I'm probably going to move Mims up here above Rice and Jaden Reed, maybe even over Kincaid. So that's the sleeper, man. If you can get Mims, go ahead and do it. Yes, sir. Um, that was my first thought too. But then on second thought, realizing when my mind made the connection that Marvin Mims can be a Brandon Cooks. Do you guys remember Devery Henderson? Like the Saints always have a vertical guy in their offense, and that's going to be Mims for the Broncos. I'm pretty excited about it. And yeah, it's if Sutton gets moved, that's going to open things up for Judy to be the target leader. It's going to open things up for Tim Patrick to stay on the field at all times. And then you have Marvin Mims, who's going to be stretching the field at all times. And then it's also good for Greg Dulcich because I think, Dulcich can be used as the fourth receiving target there. And if Sutton stays, he's kind of the fifth man there. And yeah, Judy, all the fantasy people that I follow are starting to get excited about Jerry Judy. And maybe let me continue with this ADP Fallers list. I think Judy might be on the way up on the other side here. There's Juju falling again. I don't know why Kendre Miller is falling. Chase, you have to draft Kendre Miller. You have to. I think Kendre Miller is the starting running back for the New Orleans Saints next year. He's young. I think he turns 21 this season. If you haven't watched Kendre Miller from Kansas State on YouTube after this video, man, go check out Kendre Miller. The dude has a ton of juice, and he runs very forceful. He's a lot of fun, good pass catcher. He basically just needs to prove that he can pass pro, and Kendre Miller is a guy that I think could be a potential league-winning dynasty pick next year. Kyle Pitts falling. Schultz, Tillman, Richie James, Quez Watkins, Thornton. There's Dallas Goedert falling a little bit. I've been nipping him up when he falls. I like Chigo Conquo when he falls. Continue to draft Devon A-Chain. He might be my bad. Who am I thinking? I'm thinking of Deuce Vaughn, but definitely at the purple connection. But for sure, Kendre Miller, man, is he's on the list. And then I like Devon A-Chain a lot too. I don't know if he's a useful pick this year, but for sure next year. And if he is the future passing down kind of, I don't want to say trick play, but if he's like their go-to play guy, I like A-Chain a lot. And yeah, I'm stupid. He's from TCU. Chuba, Watson, Prescott falling, Rashawn Johnson, Trey McBride. Just a couple names there that are falling for you guys. Let's go ahead and see if there is any risers to note. Again, there's Paris Campbell, there's Romeo Dobbs, there's Tim Patrick, Jake Ferguson. It sounds like, yeah. I don't think it makes sense for Miami to grab Dalvin Cook. I hope not. I want them to go in with Raheem, Jeff Wilson, and A-Chain. But I want to show you here. If you need a tight end late there, Chase, I like Jake Ferguson a lot. He's going to be the second-year starting tight end for the Cowboys. A lot of volume there for him. I like Pierre Strong to be involved in the Patriots offense this year. Sky Moore, a lot of people are getting off Sky Moore, and now his ADP is starting to climb. So people are getting back on board here. I think he might be the starting slot receiver all year for the Chiefs. There's Kenneth Gainwell rising. There's Hayden Hurst rising. That's weird. Isaiah Hodgins, the potential wide receiver one for the Giants. I don't know if you guys know anything about Trent Sherfield. He's been a quality third, fourth receiver for a lot of teams the last few years. He's making some noise in Buffalo. Right now, Malik Davis, the projected RB2 for Dallas. Allen Robinson, Alan Lazard, Taysom Hill, Van Jefferson. I like Terrace Marshall late. I don't hate that there, Chase. That's a good one there, Harris. That's a good one. I think Lazard's going to be on the field a ton. And if I had to choose like between drafting Alan Lazard in the 9th, 10th round or drafting Tyler Conklin late, I'll probably take Alan. I'm cool with Alan Lazard. I think he's going to be, a 3-4 catch a guy game, good chance at a touchdown. You have the instant chemistry with Rodgers. It seems like a good fit. And then I do like, I like Van Jefferson to have a nice little season this year. There's Gibson moving up. There's Brock Purdy, Jalen Warren. Chase, if you can get Jalen Warren, we're all aboard the Jalen Warren train. Let's see, Desmond Ridder, Kyle Phillips. Nothing else really. Again, I like Luke Musgrave a lot. I think he's going to get a lot of opportunity. I don't know why Adam Thielen's moving up, but he's moving up. I'm into Brian Robinson. Bryce Young moving up a little bit. But that's pretty much it, guys. I do want to note Zamir White starting to move up the board. Yeah, I think I remember seeing that now. So, but that is the major ADP stuff here for us. I think we're gonna get the video done here. You're into Adam Thielen. Oh no, Harris. I'm out on Adam Thielen. He might be a guy that's of use at the beginning part of the year. I think for where he's being drafted, though, I don't know if I trust it. Let's see. Where is Adam Thielen? So, I mean, he's a super late pick. This is where he's being drafted. I mean, I prefer Kendre Miller in this range. I prefer Van Jefferson. I prefer Tank Bigsby, Okonkwo, Warren. I just don't want to get caught, man. I don't want to get caught. Thielen's been slowing down the last few years. I like the veteran receiver presence for a young QB, but I mean, one, I don't expect the Panthers offense to be like elite this year. If I'm going to draft any Panther, it's probably Miles Sanders. That's like the one guy that I think I'm okay with getting in the 6th or 7th round or whatever. But otherwise, slightly concerned about Adam Thielen. But hey, guys, that's going to do it for tonight's video. I'm going to get out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Chase, we'll continue looking at your dynasty stuff after this. But either way, I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. Check out thefantasyfellowship.com. And yeah, have a good rest of your night, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.